So Doug's not here. Stoney's going to make the picks for Doug, although you have Doug's picks to make.
Right.
I don't know what Doug did last week. I don't have those numbers. I can tell you I took a little bit of a step back last week. I was 2-4 for the week, but I'm 34-23 for the season. 5-5 with my shoot the boot lock of the week. So it's not all that great, but I will start with the world of college football and looking at the Big Ten. No surprise. I like looking at the Big Ten. Ohio State's giving up 28.5 points at Northwestern. But if you've watched Northwestern football, it's nothing special. They're playing this game at Wrigley Field, which is kind of interesting. But Ohio State's got just too much firepower. I think this late in the season, this is a team that's going to put one on Northwestern and do it pretty handily. And I just don't think Northwestern's going to be able to score a ton. Ohio State can cover the 28.5.
Doug Karsch. He's going to go for the Fighting Mormons of Brigham Young. -2.5 taking on the Kansas Jayhawks.
Okay, I will now travel to the SEC. It's another place I like to go because, well, these two conferences where the best teams are. LSU on the road at Florida. The Tigers are giving up 3.5 points. LSU's singing from what happened last week against Alabama.
They're waiting for Bryce Underwood.
Florida is nothing special, and I think LSU is going to strike back pretty hard this week. I like LSU giving up the 3.5. In fact, it's my shoot the boot lock of the week.
Ooh. Does Doug have a shoot the boot lock of the week?
It was the first one. It was car house lock of the week. Sorry, I just saw that.
Okay,
so,
I didn't know. I didn't know what CCH meant.
Yeah.
Yes, Brigham Young is his shoot the boot or whatever. He's also going to pick an SEC game for number 2, and he has the Tennessee Vols +10 going to Athens and to beat Georgia.
I saw that. I like that. I didn't like that because Tennessee's not going to play with a quarterback likely. So that's going to be trouble. And Georgia is pissed, and Georgia's on the outside looking in.
Yeah. But
so,
Travis Etienne,
Trevor Etienne.
Trevor Etienne's not playing.
No, he's not. But nonetheless, that's that's probably the best college game of the week to watch.
Oh, no doubt.
Lastly, for me, in the Big Ten, I go right back. Oregon giving up 13.5 points at Wisconsin. I know it's one of these travel games. It could be interesting, but in the end, it's a night game, so they can adjust to that travel, and Wisconsin just doesn't offer enough of a resistance. Oregon's too good. They're out there to prove it as well, as much as Ohio State is, and it's not even a 2-touchdown spread to -13.5.
Doug goes to the Atlantic Coast Conference.
Oh, a little ACC.
And he's taking the Fighting Narduzzi's of the University of Pittsburgh +11.5 against the Dabos, taking on Clemson. I don't know. I think Pitt is basically given up.
Do you?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're really not. Well, I suppose technically they're still in it for the championship, and if you can win the championship, then you're in the playoffs. So they shouldn't give up, Stoney.
I know.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up. Switching over now to the NFL and looking at the Lions and the Jags. I like the over total on this, the 47. Yeah, the 14 points is a lot to give up, but the over total of 47, I think they can get over that.
It's funny because when I was going to make the picks for my own before we got Doug's, I had the under in that game.
Oh.
Because I figured the Lions, it's like a 35-10 game.
Fair enough. That would technically be under. I can do that math.
Anyway,
even Gronk know that.
Doug likes the fighting interim coaches, the New Orleans Saints, -1.5, taking on the Cleveland Browns.
Oh, boy.
Yes.
San Francisco trying to get back on track. They got a win last week with Christian McCaffrey back in the fold, and hopefully there's not any more infighting on the sidelines with kickers and holders and star receivers. But they're only giving up 6.5 at home against Seattle. I think they've got things straightened out, and they're ready to go on a run here.
Doug continues his trend of picking awful NFL games. He takes the New York Fighting Jets -3.5 against the Indianapolis Colts. Why would you even touch that game?
I was thinking about the under in that one, but I just hope that it's just another loss for Aaron Rodgers because it's so delicious.
I know.
Lastly, Houston is on the road at Dallas. It's the Battle of Texas. Houston's given up 7.5, which normally I would say it's too much to give up. But what is Dallas going to do? Who do they have?
I don't know.
They got nothing. And
Cooper Rush, baby.
Right, and Houston is getting healthier. We saw how well they played the Lions. I like Houston giving up 7.5.
And Doug's final pick is one I actually agree with, although the line I think is even less. Maybe it's more than it was when I looked this morning. The Buffalo frickin' Bills at home against the undefeated Kansas City Chiefs. He's got Buffalo -2.5 because the Bills might have a kicking advantage now that Butker is out for Kansas City.
It's down to Buffalo -1 right now.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting. Each week, Kang loves on a pick and hates on a pick. Kang, what do you love? What do you hate?
I love your pick of LSU -3.5 at Florida. I agree with that one. I think they'll take care of business. Florida, these ain't your grandfather's Florida Gators.
No.
Sorry, Gator. That wasn't a shot at you.
No, I don't take it as
I actually agree with your pick.
Thank you.
By the way, I love how Stoney calls everyone the fighting somethings.
Yeah.
Except for the last one was the freaking Bills instead of the fighting Bills. I was waiting for that. But I don't like one of Doug's picks. It was he's got the Saints -1.5 versus the Browns. I think that was that whole interim thing. It wears off really quick.
One game.
Yep. And then so I'm taking the Browns in this one.
He's going with the Fighting Stefanskis.
Yeah, there you go.
There you have it. If I bet it, we're allowed to bet now, so feel free to do what you want responsibly. That's if I bet it. We'll wrap things up here. 97.1 The Ticket.